Hey everybody. So, little change of pace today. Today we are making banana bread muffins. And if you're looking for something to do with your bananas, because like in my house, for example, we buy a lot of fruit. And oftentimes when the bananas do make it that far, they start to get those brown spots and get a little too soft and squishy. And I mean, I love to eat them like that, but not necessarily everybody does. So, what can we do with them? So what we do is we actually take our bananas and freeze them. And, once you freeze them, they get this kind of just terrible brown color to them. But these things are so sweet and so just tender and beautiful and juicy. They are perfect for making banana bread, and they are perfect for making muffins. So today we're going to walk through how to make banana bread muffins, at least how I bake them. The kind of the simple steps to do it. It's a very, very simple process. The recipe, if you want to follow along or make them yourself, is down in the comment section for the video. So you can kind of tune in, follow along for the steps, and you can get the recipe to make anything you want. Now, first thing we're going to look at our ingredients, right? We have a 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, salt, 3/4 cup of sugar, 1/3 cup of butter, 3 large bananas, and 1 egg. And that's what we're going to need to make this. So I'm going to kind of tilt the camera down to the bowl, and we're going to walk through step by step. I think once you see how easy this is, you're gonna probably decide to start making banana bread yourself. I mean, I intentionally freeze bananas sometimes just for the sake of making really awesome smoothies or baking banana bread or banana pancakes or anything like that. So we're gonna go through the steps. Very simple. If you are doing this, you're gonna want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. That's important because by the time the batter's made, you're gonna want to throw it right in the oven. So we're gonna tilt down and take a look here. Now, actually, I'm going to change angles here because I want to be able to see the screen. Guys, any comments or questions as we go along and do this, just chime right in, and I will do my best to answer all of them. Okay, so there we go. All right, so first thing we're going to do is I'm going to peel our 3 terrible looking bananas, right? I mean, look at these things. They're juicy and soggy, but that is exactly what I want out of them. That's what I want to see because that's where all the sugars and the flavor are at. And also, they're going to mash really nicely and make a phenomenal base for these muffins. So, peel the 3 bananas in the bowl. And the other thing that I'm going to add is the sugar. And now I want to get in here and make pretty much a paste. So what I'm doing is working this around, working the bananas in, and I just want to make a sugary banana pulp. And what that's going to do is be the liquid inside the batter. So if I was making regular muffins, there's times I'd add milk or heavy cream or anything like that to add moisture to it. And with this is so wet and juicy, you don't have to do that. Now, in a pan on the side, I'm going to melt the butter. Now, this is 1/3 cup of butter, as I mentioned earlier. And when you're melting it, you don't want to melt it over a super high heat because if you're melting your butter over a super high heat, what's going to happen is it's going to separate on you and get really greasy. So we're looking to melt it about 3/4 of the way, pull it off the heat, and let it finish doing its melting process itself. Big difference in when we do this. Again, I want to keep this batter just slightly chunky, but I don't want giant chunks of banana in there because that's just not going to be enjoyable for anyone. And that's going to affect how our banana muffins bake, and they're not going to be super... they're going to have big, giant, just chunks of fruit in there, and they're going to be a little bit slimy in consistency. So you want to make sure you mash them up. You can hear my butter sizzling. Again, I don't want to melt it too much, so I'm going to take it 3/4 of the way and then add it to here. Now, the best thing about making banana bread muffins is that you can make these and you can do one of 2 things. You can freeze the batter. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll freeze the batter inside muffin cups, or I'll make the muffins, bake them, and then freeze them, and then just pull them out of the oven and out of the freezer and put them in the fridge the night before. And by the next morning, they're perfectly defrosted, beautiful. They toast up nicely. A nice big slab of cold butter, and you just have a phenomenal muffin. So that butter I was telling you about, you can see it's not fully melted. I have a little chunk of butter in here, but right now, this last part of the process, it's all melting. So when I dump this into the bowl, it's liquid. Perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So now I've added this butter and I have this awesome cold banana butter sugar mixture. It sounds delicious. I'm going to add 1 whole egg. Mix this up. And the egg is going to work as a binder, so that's going to help everything kind of come together. Every single ingredient we have in here has its own purpose. So say I wanted to make these vegan, for example. I can substitute chia seeds for the raw egg. There's also other great substitutes, but the banana is also going to help it hold together. So I could take this batter without the egg, put it on a griddle, and basically make banana pancakes that are vegan. I added my all-purpose flour, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. Now, here's the trick. If I wanted to make these, say, a little bit healthier, I can substitute about 10 to 15% of the flour for wheat flour. And what that's going to do is give that whole wheat kind of taste, but you're still going to have the strength of the all-purpose flour. Another thing I could do is substitute almond flour, and I could substitute that 100%. Now, the muffins aren't going to hold together as tightly, but they're going to be delicate, they're going to be light, they're going to be gluten-free. They're just going to be fantastic. You can also play with the types of sugar you use, using honey, maple syrup, coconut sugar is a big one with me. We use a lot of coconut sugar at home. It's just a little bit easier to digest than the refined white sugar, so you could change it up however you see fit. Now, taking this, I'm not looking to just beat the heck out of it, which is why I don't do this in a mixer. I want to do what's called folding. So I come underneath and just kind of slowly mix. And I'm mixing all this batter to come together. The fact that my bananas were cold means that I'm going to have a nice thick batter. And I'll show you why that's great to work with in a minute. You can see the batter is coming together, right? And this is what we're looking for. And as we do this, I just kind of take the spatula and scrape the sides. I want to make sure I'm getting any chunks of the flour that are on the bowl, because I don't want to leave any of it behind. But also, more importantly, I want to make sure that the baking soda and baking powder are well incorporated, because those are what are called our leavening agents. And leavening agents are what make our muffins rise. So they make them puff up beautifully. Between those and the egg, they just get this really great aeration. So the batter's mixed, and next thing you do, we're going to go into muffin cups. So I love these big giant, they're like almost mini pie tins. They work wonderful for muffins because they bake completely different. Instead of height, you have width. And I'll show you when these come out of the oven what that means. Now, another really awesome tool for making muffins, and people don't think about it because you're normally so focused on getting to the point of the batter that you don't think about how you're going to get it into the muffin tins. Get yourself an ice cream scooper. These are also called dishers if you're ever looking for them on Amazon, but they're measured in size. So I could take this and scoop and have an even amount of batter in every single muffin. Important. Also clean. So I take a scoop right into the muffin tin. Now, I have 5 evenly sized muffins. Another big question I get when we talk about filling muffins, filling cupcakes, is how high you fill them. And there's really no right or wrong answer because it's based on the actual recipe you're working with. Because some rise better than others, some have more leavening agents, some have more eggs. If it's like a rich, dense, heavy chocolate muffin, it's not going to rise as much, so I'd fill that a little bit higher. But for these muffins, we fill about 3/4 of the way up. So I want to see a small lip of space here, but I know that this is going to puff up nicely. So I'm going to take these muffins. If I was making mini muffins, they bake for about 10 minutes. These muffins are going to go about 18 to 20 minutes in the oven. And I'm going to show you what they look like when they come out. Now, thanks to the beauty of movie magic, boom, we have muffins right out of the oven. So, if you've ever seen the Seinfeld episode, do you remember the ones about the muffin tops? That's exactly why I love these muffin tins, because if you look at this, they're super wide, and you get a lot of muffin top coverage and not as much density of the baked bread, so you get all this caramelization and crust. Really great. Also, if you don't want to actually tear into your muffin, you could smear a thick layer of cold butter on top of here and it's phenomenal. There's a ton of different variations that I could do with the muffins. I can add chopped walnuts into it. I could, when it's done, before I put it into the oven, I could sprinkle rock sugar on top. I could do all sorts of different things to change these up, but this is the base of just a great banana bread muffin. And, what does that look like inside? So I'll show you. So, no, I didn't just pull these out of the oven. I was joking a little bit. I took them out of the oven about 20 minutes ago. But when I peel these off, and using a paper liner, you don't need to spray or treat them. But if I was using, say, a foil liner, I'd want to spray them with some sort of a pan spray. If I take these muffins off and you break them in half, and you can see, they are absolutely gorgeous. You have chunks of just moist banana in there, a really awesome gluten formation, really beautiful, delicate. They're sweet. They have a phenomenal aroma. So simple, easy way to make banana muffins. And, I encourage it. If anyone that wants to do it or you have old bananas, definitely do it. There's also other fruits you can add to this. So I'm going to come back up because I want to see me, as weird as that sounds. So you can add all sorts of things to it. Like I said, you can add walnuts. You can add chocolate chips. You can add hazelnuts. I could take a scoop of Nutella and drop it in the middle and fill half the batter and put more batter on top. Now all of a sudden I have Nutella stuffed banana muffins. That sounds pretty darn good. But super simple, super easy. You don't need any equipment except a bowl and a spoon or spatula. Save those bananas. Don't ever throw them out. There's always something you can do with them. So great little quarantine tip while you're staying at home. How to preserve food. How to make sure you have what you need. And these things, like I said, they came out fantastic. It's really, really great. So everyone, be safe. Be wonderful. Be healthy. Hope to see you soon. I will see you in tomorrow night's class. And if I don't, I'll see you Friday on my Facebook Live Chef Virtual Office Chat at 1 o'clock. So take care and bye-bye.